So this video will be the first in a series of learning how to use the more advanced functions of Quartzy besides just searching for items in our inventory. So the first thing is how to request an item. So if a professor, or Teresa asks you to request an item, this is how you would do it. So there are a couple of ways to do it. There are three. You can either use the add request option up here. You can go to the inventory and add from the inventory. Or you can add a completely new request from the website. So I'll go ahead and go through the inventory option first. Chances are if you're ordering an item, we already had it at some point, so that does make it a little bit easier. One thing that is important to do is make sure that you're in the right lab when you start this process. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to the chemistry lab, because you can't change this once you've kind of got to the marked received spot, which I'll show you in a second. So let's say we were asked to order some 5 mole NaCl. So it looks like sodium chloride right here. And then we want to go ahead and just press request, or you can even just see it from here, request. And then why it was important to be in the right lab is because we're adding this request in chemistry, and so when we go down here to choose a grant ID, it's going to show mostly chemistry numbers. So if this was something that you were ordering for a biology class, and then you go down here and say you can't find it, there's a reason, and it's because you're in the wrong lab. So just be sure that you're searching in the correct lab and double check up here you're in the lab that you want to be in when you start your request. So let's just say we're going to be giving this to the chemistry stockroom. And then these fields are all optional if you have any notes you want to add. And so again, this is pretty much the easiest option because it has everything already filled out for you. And it's in the request now. So if we go here, there it is. So the second way is to use this button up here, and within this way there are the two different ways, and one of them is to use the lookup, or the other one is the third way and the final way, and the way that takes so long is to add a completely new request. So to use the lookup option, we would want to know where the chemical originally came from, and then the catalog number. If you don't know the catalog number, typically it's written on the bottle, but if it's not, what you can do is you can go to the vendor website. So I have it open up here. Then I go to sodium chloride. I see the 5 mole. I can just click on it. And then that number, the catalog number, is this one here. So you can just copy and paste it over into this section. And then you can see it comes up as something that we've already ordered. So you want to use the second option here. And just press request. And then typically the only thing you should have to add in here, besides the grant ID, which you always have to add to a request, is the price. So we would just go over here, make sure we have the right catalog number. It looks like it's 49.20. And then you would just add that in. Again, pretty simple. We'll just say again, chemistry stockroom. And the final way to do it, if you have to add a request, if you needed to do a completely new item that has not been ordered before, you just have to fill all of these items out. So it's pretty simple. You would just, again, want to go to whatever website or vendor you were using, and then you would want to kind of gather all the information you could that you need to fill it out. So obviously the vendor, I would say millipore sigma, the catalog number here. The pack size can sometimes be confusing. This one here says the pack size is right next to the catalog number, which looks like 1L, so 1 liter. And then the name, typically I would just copy and paste the name from the top here. So you would just fill all that out, add your grant ID in, add the request like we did for the previous two. Again, requesting items is a pretty simple process. If you ever have any questions or are not quite sure how to request an item, you can always ask someone who's worked in the stockrooms before. You can ask Teresa, or if you really need to, you can ask a faculty member.